Big support from South Florida's Venezuelan community late this week for new sanctions against the Nicolas Maduro government. President Trump signed the executive order Friday. It's meant to deny cash to the increasingly all-powerful socialist government. Will it work, and does it go far enough? Are there unintended consequences for American investments? Let's start right there with Dr. Frank Mora, director of Florida International University's Latin American and Caribbean Center, who also served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Western Hemisphere from 2009 to 2013. Thanks so much for being with us on a Sunday.
Thank you, Glenn.
So sanctions are financial. Do they go far enough?
Well, it depends what your objectives are, right?
What are the objectives?
The objective seems to be trying to change the government's behavior, right? Or is it regime change? It's not clear what the objectives are, but it will have an impact on the economy. Now, there are exemptions, right?
Sure. Before you continue, I just don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not sure regime change was the stated goal of the Trump administration. I think changing behavior, probably more to your point, of the regime was the goal.
So how will it change behavior, right? When the government is inflexible and dogmatic in not making the changes it wants, right? There's no expectation they're going to change the behavior. I think the objective is political. I think the objective is simply to show that the administration is doing something, is responding to the crisis and the turmoil that is occurring in that dictatorship. And the vice president's visit, I think, exemplified the political elements of this decision.
So in these financial sanctions, which I guess we should say are the last in a series of sanctions, and this targets the entire government of Venezuela. However, there are carve-outs specifically for PDVSA, the government-owned oil company. Citgo is the American arm of that, and there is a very specific mentioned carve-out that protects Citgo from these sanctions. Is that appropriate?
So PDVSA and the government cannot raise capital in the bond markets, but there are exceptions for commercial transaction and for, you're right, the refineries. So these are where American capital, American investments are in the refineries in Southwest the United States. And there was a lot of pressure for the administration to make these exceptions and protect the economic interests of those. So it's very focused on the ability of the government and the national oil company to raise capital in the bond market, period. And
so with that said, how could, there are also exceptions for humanitarian remittances.
That's right.
So with those exceptions carved out, how is it? It's still very strong financial incentives there. How is it possible that the people of Venezuela, who are already suffering under extreme shortages, food and medicine, and a spiraling economy, how does something like this from the United States not harm the people any further?
It will. The question is, and it's not clear to me to what extent it will harm people when the government can raise the capital to sort of invest in the number one industry that they have. But remember, there is an exception for commercial transactions. So imports and exports, the government can still find capital for that kind of activity. The goal was not to affect the Venezuelan people.
So I guess that begs the question, does it go far enough? Is this going to even be effective?
It depends on your political objective. I don't think that the thought that not allowing the government to raise capital in the bond market is not going to have an impact on the way that this government behaves. It's got to be a strategy that incorporates a number of other elements or tools of national power, working with the neighbors of Venezuela to put pressure on the government.
You know, do you find any similarities between sanctions that the U.S. has imposed on Cuba for the better part of the half century and really no movement in that government either?
It's the expectation. My concern, Glenna, is that suddenly we think that economic sanctions is going to bring the change we want in Venezuela. We've done a lot of work on this, and I have to tell you that economic sanctions on its own does not have or reach the desired impact that you want. You have to work with other ways. And the problem is that people all of a sudden say, the Americans will take care of this, like they did with Cuba. And unfortunately, sanctions will not have the impact that we want, certainly in the short term. The Venezuelan people need to continue fighting against this dictatorship in the streets and not expect the United States, either through sanction or even less likely, a military option that the president sort of entertained a few weeks ago. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know, and in fact, we have actually met many Venezuelans here who are going back, saying just that. I'm going back. I need to be there to fight. Frank Mora, thank you so much for that fight. I appreciate you coming in.